Hello everybody and welcome to Kathy's Cooking Club. If you're watching this the first time, we're probably all watching it together while I am at sea, and that will be awesome. Hopefully I have the internet. If not, you'll be watching this by yourself, and hopefully I will be in the chat. If you're watching this later on, watching the replay, hello, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. What we're going to do today, I think it was the last two classes, the February classes, someone had mentioned, and it just slipped my mind who it was exactly, mentioned doing chickpeas in the dehydrator as a crunchy snack. And so we're kind of still talking about how to add in protein. That's going to be our Zoom call this month, as well as we're going to talk about adding in whole food plant-based proteins, just as a choice. Should you want to add more protein, or maybe you feel like you're not having quite enough protein? And some of the dietitians and the registered dietitians are saying as we get older we may require more. Not a doctor, not a dietitian, but what I can do is make delicious recipes that fit these. I have a bunch of cans of chickpeas that I have drained, and I have so much aquafaba that I'm going to have to freeze. Who knows, maybe an April class will be how to use up all this aquafaba. We'll see. I'm up to 3 cups now, and we're not done yet. So I wanted to do 2 of my favorite crunchy flavors with chickpeas. We're also going to do 2 with black beans. And you could use white beans. You probably could use kidney beans. They may take a little longer. You could use cannelloni beans. Cannelloni beans. You could use really pretty much any kind of bean. I had some black-eyed peas, and I was like, they would probably work. It just depends on if they're mushy yet or not. It's going to be. So chickpeas are really great because they're already such a non-smushy bean, right? You have to really puree it to turn it into hummus. It doesn't just smush up easy. So I thought first off, we'll just do kind of like goldfish. As you know from my crackers, goldfish and pizza we're going to do again. We're going to do a taco, kind of a nacho cheese taco blend with the black beans. I've got some cocoa powder, date sugar, maple syrup, agave nectar, peanut butter powder. So we're going to do some sweet ones that I'm going to decide as we go along. So this is 1 can of chickpeas that I've drained and put back in the can. Now, one of the things I was seeing, because we've talked about maybe doing this different ways, right? And as far as in the oven, in the air fryer, in the dehydrator. And one of the things that can be hard is that if you live in a humid climate like I do in North Carolina, they can really kind of get soft again. So a bonus would be putting it in the dehydrator. You know, if you have some kind of, at least a Ziploc bag, if not something you can vacuum seal or take the air out of would be really good. But also, if we're not already cooking them in the oven, then we would be able to dehydrate them again or heat them up in the oven to kind of get them crispy again. The other way to do that is to add oil, which we're avoiding. So I'm going to just do a real basic one with this. And I'm gonna, let's see if 1/8 of a cup or 2 tablespoons is enough. And actually, I'm just gonna bring my little notes over here. So the nacho cheese, we've got 2 tablespoons of nooch. I think we'll do, let's see, do I have 1/2 teaspoon? We'll do like 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, about 1/8 of a teaspoon of onion powder, because I want it just to make it kind of savory. Let's see, I did 1/4 teaspoon garlic, 1/8 of a teaspoon of onion. I'm going to add a little bit of salt in here. I'm going to move these over. You could leave this salt free. You could also just put in whatever salt substitute you like. I'm probably putting about 1/8 of a teaspoon. And then we're just gonna mush them around. And I started with these because then I can put the pizza one inside of this and it should be fine. Whoop, you're not getting away. And the aquafaba from the chickpeas should actually hold this on, mostly. You know, I mean, that's really good. I think I'm going to add another tablespoon of nutritional yeast. So we'll make that 3 tablespoons total. And then I'm going to take this part off of the dehydrator. I'm going to cook these at about 135 for at least 12 hours. It could be more or less. It's late. Believe it or not, it is 10:30 p.m. and I am up cooking for you guys. We leave tomorrow at like 3 p.m. So I may have to check them again, but we'll see how it all goes. I think it's going to go well. And I'm going to put these on the bottom and the sweet ones on the top so none of the garlic comes down onto. I could also put these in a different dehydrator, but I think for right now, this is what I'm going to do. And the thing about using the dehydrator is we can't burn it, but it could be too soft, right? And I'm thinking these will be really yummy snacks for us to pack for the plane, for any excursions we're doing, because we're gone for about a month. And I just want to make sure I space these out fairly decently to help my own cause. Okay, I'll slide those in here. All right, then for the pizza, I've got another can. Told you I had a lot of cans I opened. We're gonna do, I think, 3 tablespoons of nooch again, which I put over here. If it's late or early in class, I still, you know, I'm like, whoa, what's going on? So usually what I do when I make these pizza ones is I want to have some tomato powder, and then I want to have some oregano in addition to the garlic, onion, and cheese. So it's similar. And I don't know about you, but growing up, I loved me some pizza goldfish, and Cheryl loves them too. So I'm going to try first just a half teaspoon of tomato powder, and we may go up from there. I'm going to do 1 teaspoon. I'm going to live fast and hard here. So 1 teaspoon tomato powder. Let's go ahead and do another half teaspoon of garlic, 1/8 of a teaspoon of onion powder. Put a little salt, and then we'll get our oregano in there. You could also use Italian spices, like an Italian spice blend. You could use rosemary. But this is what makes it taste like, for those of you who didn't grow up in the US, I'm going to put a teaspoon in there. It tastes like cafeteria pizza when you're growing up in school. I'm not sure that that's necessarily saying a good thing, but it is what it is. So garlic, 1/8 of a teaspoon onion, and salt to taste. Obviously salt or salt substitute. Okay. Now, oh. And if for some reason some of these drained a little bit longer, if stuff isn't sticking the way I want it to, I can drizzle a little aquafaba on there too. And see how that really kind of got everything kind of gunked up on the beans better. All right, but I would only do that if you absolutely have to. Okay. And the reason I really decided to use the Excalibur instead of my really cheapy one mostly is because I need these to dry fairly quickly. So which seems funny since evidently I've made them a little more wet to get this yummy stuff to stick on. But you can always taste like this, the powder. Yeah, those are good. And I think when we're going to do another dehydrator class, I think, because we were talking about doing some camping foods or thermos foods, and I was thinking we could do some things like some bean creamy soups. We could do, you know, hummus, instant hummus and things like that as well. So that could be kind of cool too. We put this in here. It's got a really good flavor. And what you can do too is, actually I think I'm going to skip a row. All right. Get that to go in there. Let's get a new. And I haven't decided all the flavors I'm going to do. I figured I needed a little like excitement. So I got maple syrup. I've got agave nectar, which all of you don't use, and that's okay. I just want to try a couple of different things. I also have some date sugar, that Date Lady date sugar that I get at Costco. Or I got at Costco. I think they're clearancing it out. So if you see it, get it while you can. I have like 4 bags of it because it's so much cheaper than just buying it normal. So I was thinking of a couple things. I was thinking we should have some chocolate, maybe chocolate peanut butter. I was also thinking maybe like just cinnamon sugar could be kind of good too. So we could get that sugary texture with here, but I'm not sure it's going to be quite sweet enough against these chickpeas. So I was thinking I will probably add one of these, a drizzle at least. Okay, and I've got some cinnamon. So let's see, cinnamon sugar. Then I could do milk chocolate and chocolate peanut butter. Oh, actually, I did want to do one just all by itself, and tomorrow try and actually melt some chocolate. So let's, we'll see how that goes. I may do that in another class because this could take a while. Just in case, because I don't have a second chance since we're leaving tomorrow. So first off, what the heck am I going to do? I think let's do cocoa, soy milk powder. So these will be cocoa. So let me get I've got a tablespoon there, I think. Let me get a second tablespoon. If you don't have soy milk powder, you don't have to do this. I was just thinking it could be kind of nice to have the flavors together. It'll mellow it just a little bit. So I'm going to do 1 tablespoon of soy milk powder and 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Okay, I'm thinking of still adding in, yeah, this will make it taste caramely. And let's put in one tablespoon of date sugar. And this is very finely ground. Let me show you. So you see, it's almost as fine as the cocoa. Not quite, but almost. Okay, so we'll mix this up. And then I'm going to taste the mixture. Now, if you could add a pinch of salt if you want. These are not salt-free beans, and I'm not rinsing them, so they're going to have a little bit of saltiness along with it. Okay, so I'm going to taste this powder. I do not like the milk powder in it. So I'm going to back off of that, and we're going to start again. The milk powder is giving it kind of this dry, almost bitter taste, which is taking even more from the sweetener. So that's why I'm taking it out. Try number 2. And I'll even move that over there so we don't have any of it. We're going to do 1, 2, 3 cocos, and we're going to do 2 date sugars. Because I felt like it needed to be a little more sweet. This will almost make it taste kind of caramely. And if I can find my vanilla powder, a little vanilla powder would be nice in here too. I might have some over there. Much better. Much, 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 much better. If I don't have vanilla powder, I probably could put just a tad bit of vanilla in there too. But I have this, and last year at Costco, these went on super sale, and so I bought a whole bunch of them. And this is the one that's in my fridge right now, and it has some vanilla bean in it. So I'm thinking, let's get the can of chickpeas in here. I'm thinking this is going to be a little bit too much powder to bean ratio, but let's find out. And then we can coat it with a couple of tablespoons of maple syrup, and that should help get the rest of that in there. Or I could literally add a whole other thing of beans in there. Okay. So I'm probably going to put about 2 tablespoons, I think. Just going to kind of drizzle it in. Drizzle just a little bit more. Don't want them to get too terribly wet, but I want them to be able to get more coating on them. That's really, really good. Let's put these up at the top. So this isn't exactly like the chocolate covered chickpeas I was thinking about, but it's closer than I thought it would be, honestly. Now you could do half of the mix and not have it be so wet or clumpy. So it just kind of depends. I think this looks kind of fun, but if you're like, I just want a nice dry snack, this should still end up being nice and dry, but I think it's going to have a little more texture from where some of the cocoa gets dry too. We're about to find out. Okay. Oop. Can you see there's like, they were like, no, you didn't make me small enough. Let's do this. I did not make them quite flat enough for this. And Freya's trying to get up here. Nope, Let me get that off now. Let's see if we've mostly got it. I think we did. Oh, close enough. Okay. All right. So let's try the peanut butter ones. So I think what I want to do is mix all this up together. And so I think I'm also going to say maybe, and we did about 1 to 2 tablespoons of maple, and I'm going to put cut in half for that, or to double the other things, and then you won't have to have that little bit of inconvenience. All right, let's try another one. Okay, so I had 5 and that was too much. So I think I want 1, 2 cocos and 1 peanut butter powder. And then we can, I'm just going to use this because this is pretty much plain chocolate. It's also good. That's good. All right. So what I have to try and make sure is that the flavors are kind of matching, that I don't just taste peanut butter and that there's enough chocolate. That peanut butter powder tastes kind of nasty. Let's see if I have a different peanut butter powder. I have cashew powder. Oh wait, here I have a big. Let's see if I taste this one. I don't know that I've ever tried to just taste the powders before. I think this one is not good. So once again, we shall start again. Put this in here. We'll let me get a new bowl. Get a couple more bowls. Okay. That smells so much better. Okay. And if we like these powders, we could do it just like potions and powders, and you could have a big shaker of this, of your faves, because we're going to do that with the black beans. Okay. That's not bad. Cocoa powder unsweetened is cocoa powder unsweetened. Okay, I think we're definitely going to need a little extra sweet. I didn't put any of the date sugar in, and I think I should. So we did 2 tablespoons cocoa, 1 tablespoon peanut powder, and we'll do 1 tablespoon date sugar for the peanut butter cup. Ooh. That was loud. Was it loud to you guys? Okay, that and a little bit of maple syrup should do it. Okay. This here where you can see it real good. Also going to go ahead and coat these with just, again, I'm really just having a small drizzle. And you could use date syrup as well. You probably could use date paste, but it's going to be a little harder as far as separating things out. It's going to look a lot more like the chocolate ones. When I added a little bit extra, though, I may be adding a little extra here. Or I could even just, yeah, I think it needs a little more sweetener. Oh, it smells, I wish you could smell it now as the peanut powder is getting a little bit more moist or wet. It's smelling a lot more peanutty. Well, those are good. And not only do the beans have protein, the peanut powder does too. I still think we need just a little bit more of this. You could also, if they were as sweet as you wanted them to be, you didn't want them to be any sweeter, you could add a little aquafaba or non-dairy milk. I don't know if you guys remember when kind of dried beans were the cool new snack, and they were so expensive. Just so expensive. Kind of like kale chips. Kale chips used to be like $10 or $15 for a little bag. Okay. smells so good. I do need to get these down to a single chickpea layer. Here we go. Use this one. And when I get up in the morning, we'll shake them apart some too. Or if I stay up late packing or something before I go to bed, I might go ahead if I'm up for a couple of hours. I kind of have the feeling I'm not going to be up for a couple of hours. All right, let's see how close we are to letting those slip in. Yay! And I'm going to do one more so that we will have 5 of these. So I'm going to do black beans just cause I can. And we'll just kind of start from the beginning, and I will strain them, and then we'll get them kind of put together in a bowl. I'm going to use our taco Dorito mix that we made a long time ago, and I also have some nacho cheese. So we could use a little bit of each one of those. I'll get the recipes in the packet. And don't forget, we have things like ranch and dill and all of that too. That's perfect for anything crunchy like this. All right, so I'm gonna open up these cans of beans. Move some of this stuff out of the way. Okay. And this is when having a can strainer comes in handy. Okay. And this is the reason why I took the other aquafaba out. It's because I don't really use the black bean aquafaba. Ooh, it's thick. We may have to put these in an actual strainer. We can put them here. Let's see if we can, because it's thick. Let's do this. And okay. So see how thick it is? It's really kind of and the aquafaba is so thick. Like that's thick. Thick. I'm just going to see if I can get a little more of it off. If I can't, it's not the end of the world. I can also do it the same way before the Miomat strain mate came into my life, that I just kind of move it around, see if we can separate it, just so it's not extra wet. Now, what some people do when they're using their oven, so if you don't have a dehydrator, you could do them in your oven. What I would probably do with this mess right here is I would put it in the oven at probably about 250, 300 till it looks not so gushy, and then toss it with the spice blend, and then go ahead and cook them till crispy at 350. An air fryer is going to be similar. Wow, these are just super thick. All right. Okay. Well, let's just see how it all pans out. It's an experiment, right? So at this one, I'm just going to put whatever spice blends you want. So this is my taco. Ooh, actually it already has nacho. I think I'm just going to use the taco. This is the nacho cheese. We could also mix it if we wanted to. It's your yummy chickpeas, and you can do whatever you want. Okay. And if we do it this way, we'll see when they're starting to separate and get dry enough. I think I'm going to put 2 of these, and then if it's not dry enough, I'll put 1 of the nacho cheese in. Yeah, I think we're going to need more. This is an experiment. I've never done black beans before, but I've also never had it quite so thick. Actually, let's put, I'm going to put two of each. And I am almost expecting this to come out like bean brittle, but we'll see. Yeah. I am just very dubious of this. This looks like it'd make a great bean burger. Don't get me wrong, it's really tasty. Just trying to decide, since this doesn't really fit at all with what I was going to do. I have another can of black beans, and I'm going to rinse them, like with water. And let's see if that makes it a little more where I want it to be. And sometimes getting canned beans, usually except for chickpeas, can be a little bit weird. Both of these, the chickpeas and these black beans, are bushes. I got them at Costco. And these are still pretty thick. So I'm going to kind of put all of this stuff here. I'm going to rinse this out of here. And then I'm going to put these in the strainer. Let's rinse them. Yeah, that's going to give me what I want. I kind of thought I could make it work else without it, but no, just no. And I'm just moving this to see if I can get a little more liquid out. This is still got, actually I'm going to rinse part of these. I'm going to take some of them up. Some at the bottom still have a lot of that thick aquafaba. Thicker than our other aquafaba. Okay, let's try this instead. And then I think I might even go ahead and make bean patties with those while we're here. Why not? Okay. Because I think this would work with that and maybe some oats. And we probably could even dehydrate those too. But I don't think I'm ready for that tonight. Okay. So let's try again. We'll do 2 taco. And see, now this is much more like what I was expecting. Not quite as goopy goop. Put 2 of each, and I'll put just a wee bit of salt. I'm probably putting 1/8 to 1/4 of a teaspoon, but like I said, you don't have to have any of that. Okay. All right, this is still going to be interesting. It tastes really good though. And that is what's important, isn't it? It tastes good. All right, I'm going to put this down in the bottom. It's kind of like black bean clusters. This would still be a really tasty snack if it does all the things I want it to do. So I'm separating these a little bit because they're wetter. I don't think that my spatula is going to be able to do it for me. And I tell you, one of the things when I'm stressed out, I really miss crunchy foods. And I'm thinking this will hit that spot. And with all the crazy in the world, I could use a little a little relief from the stress. And sometimes a little crunch goes a long way. Okay, and I don't want to have any of these too big of a cluster because then they're going to take longer to dehydrate. Need to it's really tasty though. It tastes like Doritos has a new flavor that mixes the nacho cheese and taco flavor. Okay, and I'm going to put these in here. We're going to turn it on for 135, and then we'll check on all of these in the morning. Good afternoon. Crazy thing, I stayed up till like 4 in the morning doing different things than this. I got a little nervous. I turned these up a little higher. So in the directions, I'm going to say about 125 to 135 degrees on like a grown-up Excalibur dehydrator. If we were doing this in the one that stacks, the round one, we might have to go a little higher because it's not quite as powerful. So, you know, your mileage may vary a little bit. I tried these this morning when I got up, and so I turned it off. I'm super excited, and I can't wait for you to see some of these. Okay, so you can, we'll look up here too. Let's see how far down I can. Can you see how nice and dry they are? Much better than if they were in an air fryer. Now, these are pretty hard. They could be a little less hard. But for what I was doing, so if I were you, I would check it within like 6 to 8 hours, move it around, see if it needs to be any way different. So these are our pizza ones. I'll figure it out. So I'm going to put them in regular Ziplocs instead of fancy ones because we're traveling. And we have a friend bringing us to the airport, so I might gift him with some as well. But these are really nice. Now, they are, like I said, I think if I If I went much harder, it would be not good as far as for my teeth. So this is 1 can. I'll move these over here so I can wash them before we go. Dressed for the plane. These are our Cheez-Its. Let's see if I can move this down just a little. Ooh, there you go. You can see it a little bit more. Maybe. Those are good too. And this also means while we're on the ships, we can have a protein-rich snack. Also, when I get nervous or really stressed out, oh, this is a bad idea. What am I thinking? Maybe a couple on there, but I can move that in. And if you don't have these fancy sheets, then you could just use parchment paper too to make it easy, or just not. This is my friend's dehydrator, Elizabeth, who does the Chapel Hill pod. So I want to keep them as pristine as possible because she's graciously lent me this. Okay, let me get these in, back in. We have 3 more. So we do have 5 recipes, and I was thinking I may do another one of these. So these are our black bean taco beans, and they're a little bit clustery, right? And I think that's not a bad thing. So let me kind of show you what I mean. There you go. So I'm going to take a small cluster. Oh my God. These are the way. We're going to do a second class because I think I'm going to try this with white beans. The crispy, crunchy coating on this is like next level. So this is my favorite texture of all of them. Now, some of that could be remedied simply by not doing it as high a temperature. I cranked it up and then I did it for probably 10 to 12 hours. And I think this may have done it. And I think these also, just because the inside of the beans are smushier, I just like this multi-level crunch. What it reminds me, and I don't know if I really want to say this, but I do, it reminds me of almost like a processed crunchy snack food in the crunch that it has. Like, it's that awesome a crunch. It probably doesn't hurt that it's Dorito flavored either. And with the dehydrator, so when I've done these in the oven or the air fryer, because I live in such a humid place, they do come back a lot. Like, You know, we talked about chocolate covered ones, but I think even this cocoa is fine this way. And again, we'll do one of these again with the black beans. And we'll make them chocolate clusters. And I think that'll be fabulous. Then also it won't matter so much if the aquafaba is thick like it was, because that just helps everything smush together. And I was a little concerned that that was going to make it not dry out and get crunchy enough. I have no idea how I'm going to fit all of these in the bag. But I'm going to try. We did a packing video last night too, so you can see me actively overpacking. Okay, this is the plain chocolate one. Here's 2 clustered together. You wouldn't know they were chickpeas. And because we put that maple syrup in, It almost gives the chocolate more of a chocolate coating sort of feel. Mouthfeel and flavor. Okay, so we're definitely going to have another part 2 of this, and I think the dehydrator is a better way to go. So whoever suggested this wins the prize. And you could use any of our like snack flavor mix spices from Potions and Powders, and that's also in a class. So I'll make sure to put that in one of our weekly newsletters. But I mean, really, I think the whole time of this video is less than an hour. Now, granted, it took time to process these, but these were while I was asleep. I'm going to put this one here so I can remember it's peanuts. So let me know if you have done this before. I'm going to put these in here so I can put it away. I have a couple more things to do before we take off. I think we could do this with nuts as well. And so maybe we'll do a couple of things with nuts. We'll do some things with black beans, white beans, maybe even try pinto beans. And we'll see if I like all of them a little bit better. Again, I would keep tasting these and see when you get the crunch. There shouldn't be any moisture in the middle. But another thing I could do too, if these feel a little hard, if I'm in a humid place, I can just leave the bag open for a little while and that should soften them up too. So what do you think? What's your favorite flavors to make? Have you made crispy chickpeas? Do you usually make them in the dehydrator, the air fryer, the oven? What's your trick? And what flavors would you like to see in part 2 of exciting high protein snacks? All right, guys, have a great time, and I will talk to you very, very soon.